Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Volunteer State Community College. We're in Gallatin, Tennessee. Didn't think there was anybody tuned in yet. My computer had not updated, but I see there are a few people out there, and I'll give you a heads up as to what's going on. We've got a little bit of a delay. I don't know the timing of the delay, but we are missing an umpire. So an APB, a BOLO, whatever you want to call it, if you watch or read crime novels or watch crime shows, you're going to be familiar with those initials. We're looking for an umpire. We had one. He has now walked out, I think, back to his vehicle, and they are efforting to figure out what has happened to umpire number 2. Game administrator Justin McKinney, the assistant athletic director, is here, and he's going to go see if he can get some 411 on the missing arbiter. This is Tim Reese on the VolState Sports Network. Glad that you could tune in. You might be tuning in from work today, or if you're like me, you're retired and you can just sit at the house, put it up on the big screen, and enjoy you a little bit of a late lunch. You can eat whenever you want. Let's get our Toyota of Gallatin starting lineups out of the way here. Cleveland State taking on the number 20 ranked Volunteer State Lady Pioneers. Cleveland State comes in 9th in the conference. They have a 7-19 conference record. They're 10-30 overall. This is their 41st game of the year. It's the 57th game of the year for VolState. Comes in tied for first place with Chattanooga State. 43-13 overall record. They are 25-3 in conference play. This is not considered a conference doubleheader for either team. VolState will finish their season. They'll be the last games played. I just found out that they will be playing on Sunday instead of Saturday. So the sophomore day is delayed one more day due to impending weather. So our Toyota Gallatin starting lineups. First for the visitors, the Lady Cougars, coached by Haley Carroll in her first year, assisted by Heather Shelton. Giselle Tankersley will lead off. She's going to play left field. Milan Pemberton in center field, batting second. Lily Griffiths is the DP. She's going to hit third. And the cleanup hitter is Jayla Young playing third base. Miley Howard at second base, batting fifth. Ella Blansett is behind the plate. She'll hit sixth. 7-hole hitter is the shortstop, Heidi Johnson, batting eighth. Sloan Watson playing first base and batting ninth. In right field, Layla Perry. And in the circle for Cleveland State, her 23rd appearance, if Presto Sports stats can be believed. It's her 23rd appearance of the year. That's incorrect. It's her 22nd appearance, 82 2/3 innings, 97 hits, 88 runs, 63 of those are earned. She's walked 89, struck out 50, so control is an issue. For the sophomore from Georgetown, Tennessee, 5'6" sophomore, attended Meigs County High School. I don't have a record. The information on the website, Presto website, does not total the correct number of wins for Cleveland State. I did not go back to try to recreate that. It only shows a total of 5 wins, but they have 10 on the season. So there is an issue there with wins and losses. Games started. I'm assuming the appearance is correct. For the Lady Pioneers, they'll lead off with Alyssa Dixon, who's going to play second base. Mally Griswold, shortstop, batting second. And the two Maddies back-to-back. Maddie Goad at first, Maddie Shinton at third in the 3 and 4 holes. Anaya Dawson is the designated player. She's going to bat fifth. Abby Merle back out in her familiar spot in center field, hitting sixth. KJ Irwin is behind the plate. She'll bat 7th. Kirsten Smith is the right fielder hitting 8th and batting 9th. The sophomore Caitlin Dillard. There's 11 sophomores or redshirt sophomores. In the circle, Courtney Denrider. She's another one of the sophomores that will be honored on Sunday. I'll be carrying that on the VolState Sports Network here on YouTube. Lord Willen and Courtney Denrider is on for her 9th start of the year. It's her 23rd appearance. She has a 6-2 record. She has 4 complete games in those 8 starts. 3 of those are shutouts. She also has 2 saves that leads the club. 64 2/3 innings, only giving up 41 hits, 36 runs, 34 of those are earned. She's walked 50. She has struck out 109 batters, and that is 2nd in the league, first on her team. And she has the highest strikeout per 7 innings or per game by a long shot in the TCCAA. She has struck out 11.8 batters per 7 innings, and that is over 4 strikeouts more per 7 innings than the second place pitcher, which is Emma McTavish of Roan State. The team as a whole for VolState is first in strikeouts per 7, a little over 7, so that's 1 an inning. If you are keeping up with that at home, got your calculator out, I did the math for you. Courtney Denrider is a sophomore transfer from Indian Hills Community College in Iowa. She's 5'10". She's a right-hander. From Lena, Wisconsin, went to Coleman High School. Father is Paul Denrider, mother Erin Del Santo, and she is the sister to Kobe. She's got grandparents in Oconto, Wisconsin, and also right there in Lena, Wisconsin. And if either of the grandparents or anybody from the family wants to email at treesports@gmail.com. I kind of like geography. How close, without me having to look it up, is Oconto, Wisconsin to Lena, Wisconsin? It might be just right down the road, like Gallatin and Hendersonville are here in Sumner County. I think I saw somebody the other day, it said Oconto Falls. So maybe there's another area there, a tourist area there in Oconto, Wisconsin. I'm pretty confident in August it's beautiful weather up there. Might be a little bit chilly today. Courtney coming from Indian Hills, she got 19 appearances a year ago, all in relief, no decisions in 23 innings. She struck out 32 batters, had a 2.74 ERA. Her ERA in her 22 appearances is at 3.68 for the Pioneers. They are 3rd in the conference in team ERA at 2.65. They are behind Chattanooga State and Roan State. As if you're just joining us and wondering why the delay, we are waiting on an umpire. We have one who was here, and apparently they did get a hold of the second umpire, and they are waiting on him or her to arrive. Christian Lynn and head coach for VolState, Haley Carroll, the first-year head coach for Cleveland State, meeting just down there to the right. You see that's Justin McKinney in your view that you can see, and he's wearing the blue pullover, the red hat and blue bill. It's the baseball hat. Brad Swope, who is the athletic trainer now, he's just to his right. You see a part of him. And then just off the screen are the 2 head coaches. So Justin McKinney is the assistant athletic director, the former athletic trainer for 12 years here at VolState, now moving over into a different role. He's helping longtime athletic director Bobby Hudson, who's in his 20th year in that role, and it's his 40th year with VolState. A beautiful day here in Middle Tennessee. Gallatin, located, I saw something that said 30 miles out of Nashville. I've always said it's 20. I'll go with 30. it's a good 30, 45-minute drive, depending on when you're heading that way. If you want to join the show, got a question that I might be able to answer, you can send that to treesports@gmail.com. See if we've got any early. There we go. Don Dillard, who checked in the other day, he's checking in from East Texas, down in Angelina County. Don, the grandfather of Mia Harper, a sophomore transfer. Aaron Del Santo has checked in. Oconto, 20 minutes from Coleman. So I assume that's where Coleman High School. Oconto Falls is also 20 minutes. Well, there you go, Aaron. Thank you for the geography lesson. Appreciate that. Spent a week in Wisconsin back when I was 15 years old, and I don't remember a lot of it, but my memories are great. Played at a baseball tournament in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, which I don't think is near Oconto or Lena. So I assume Coleman is near Lena. So it's not far away. Everybody's pretty close. Family reunion should take place without any travel issues. Thank you for the email. VolState won a doubleheader. When did that get played? That was back on Saturday, I believe. Nope, that was Sunday as well. That got changed. Remember leaving church now, played Southwest Tennessee. 2 victories for the Lady Pioneers, who just moved from 22nd in the country in Division I rankings up to the 20th mark. That came out yesterday. VolState won 9-0 in game 2. That was a walk-off 2-run home run by Maddie Shinton after Maddie Goad led off the bottom of the 5th inning in a 7-0 game with a double. And then Shinton took 2 really healthy cuts. She missed on the first one, and the next one she connected and lined one out of here just to the right of the dead center mark here at the Nichols Softball Complex. And hang on, I got some info coming in from our game administrator, Justin McKinney. When our umpire. So new game time is 1:20 to 1:30. Okay. So we do have somebody coming. The old "I was stuck in traffic" excuse. That's the one I'd like to use. But I'm only 10 miles away. I did get stuck in a little traffic coming out of an appointment. They were paving a road right outside where my appointment was, and they had to route me through a Kroger parking lot. So lucky I'm here. I mean, you go through a Kroger parking lot, you got to stop, right? You got to pick up a few items. And I get lost inside Kroger. I'm just kidding. 9-0 VolState won over Southwest Tennessee in game 2. That was a Grayson Nealon 4 innings. She gave up 1 hit, no runs. And Courtney Denreiter, our starting pitcher today, came in and pitched to 3 batters, struck all 3 out in her only inning of work in the top of the 5th. Lady Pioneers at a 13-run inning in game 1 after falling behind 3-0 against the Lady Salukis. They batted around twice, scored 13 runs, and ran away with a 14-3 Mercy Rule win over Southwest, who was in 10th place at the time. See if we can talk about the standings. I will give you a little bit of information. Maybe some of you know, maybe you don't. I just found out today. Thought I knew how the tiebreakers were done in softball, but apparently softball and baseball do not mirror in the TCCAA, and that's evidenced by the way they do their conference tournament now. But I thought that first, second, third place was determined by winning percentage. And right now, VolState has an .893 winning percentage, having won 25 of 28 games. Chattanooga State has played 2 less games, and they are on the schedule today taking on Roan State, who's currently in 4th place, and a really tough doubleheader for both teams today at Roan. But they have an .885 winning percentage, so I thought that VolState, by virtue of the winning percentage, would be in first place for the tiebreaker. If you went by head-to-head, then Chattanooga State would be in first place. But apparently, according to Christian Lynn, they go by losses. So both teams, VolState and Chattanooga, both have 3 losses. And then from there, I think you go to head-to-head, which Chattanooga won the 2 games here at VolState. That was back on March 21st. But as I said, Chattanooga State plays Roan State today, and those games do matter in the conference. See what other action is going on in the TCCAA. Jackson State is at Southwest Tennessee down in Memphis, Millington area. Chattanooga State at Roan State. So 3 doubleheaders taking place today in Region 7, TCCAA Conference. Again, if you're just joining us here, we have a delay waiting on our second umpire. Not sure the reason why he or she was not here, but learned that about 15 minutes before the 1 p.m. scheduled game time. As you look up and you see one umpire testing some bats and realize his partner is not here. So phone calls were made and rear ends were chewed probably. No, I'm sure everybody was completely nice and professional. We are expecting a 120 to 130 game time. It is 1:15 now, so the teams are ready. See the few of the Lady Pioneers out in left field getting in a little bit of volleyball practice. Not sure if any of those are talking to Taylor Mott, the new volleyball coach here at VolState, as the Pioneers will field 2 new teams this fall, women's volleyball and women's soccer. So volleyball will play inside the Pickle Field House on the Richard Moore Gymnasium. Where the soccer team's going to play, I don't know yet. I'm not sure if Coach Cole knows. I hope he's getting a pretty decent idea. But as both Coach Mott and Coach Cole are working on their rosters, I'm sure even now, VolState adding sports number 5 and 6. And I understand there's also a new, I guess, junior college here. It's not new junior college, but new to sports. Northeast Community College is beginning an athletic program. Dr. Wendy Tossenson, the president here at VolState in her second year, is a frequent guest in the press box, especially on weekend games, and she had provided that information to me on Sunday, but she didn't know what sports were being added. And I think Northeast is up in the northeast portion of the state. She may have told me what city they're located, but that's easily found on the Googler. I don't have my research assistant with me. Maybe Aaron Del Santo, who's already provided a geography lesson, or anybody else that wants to join the show. You can. I don't bite. Get the starting lineups again later for the late arriving crowd. If you want to let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, who you are, you can send an email to treesports@gmail.com. I got an email. There you go. Bo Fuquay, his daughter graduated already from VolState, now playing at Blue Mountain Christian. He's tuned in. Bo down in, I assume still down in Decatur. He's a lifelong Pioneer fan and a regular emailer for the last 2 years. His daughter, of course, led the country in stolen bases in Division I softball the last 2 years. 82, low 80s every year. So she finished her career with 165 or so stolen bases. You won't see teams go 5 years and total 165 stolen bases. Lady Pioneers back at it again this year, though, leading the conference in stolen bags. 175 as a team. They have the top 2 and 3 of the top 10. Alyssa Dixon leading with 57 stolen bases. Abby Merle with 45, and Caitlin Dillard has 17, and that's tied for 10th in that category. Well, I'm going to take a quick break, and maybe we'll have an umpire show up here shortly. I'll try to put a little note up on the screen that we have a delay due to waiting for the umpire. So I will be back. We have a beautiful day here and should get the doubleheader in between Cleveland State and the number 20th ranked VolState Lady Pioneers. Tim Reese back on the VolState Sports Network. Still waiting on umpire number 2, but umpire number 1 has returned to the field and will apparently conduct the home plate meeting with head coach Christian Lynn and head coach Haley Carroll of Cleveland State. I don't have any information as to the time as to when umpire number 2 will get here. I was told by Justin McKinney, our game administrator, who's the assistant athletic director here at VolState, that possibly game time 1:15 to 1:30. 1:15 is not going to work. Maybe 1:30 will be. Let's get a Toyota Gallatin starting lineups again real quick as they hand them off. We'll get as far as we can. Giselle Tankersley in the left field, Milan Pemberton in center, Lily Griffiths at the DP, the first 3 for Cleveland State. Middle 3, Jayla Young, third base, Miley Howard at second base, and Ella Blancett behind the plate. And the bottom 3 in the lineup, Heidi Johnson at shortstop, Sloan Watson, first base, Layla Perry in right field, Sierra Howard pitching for the Lady Cougars. For VolState, Alyssa Dixon, second base, Mally Grizzle at short, Maddie Goad at first base, the first 3. 4 through 6, Maddie Shinton at third base, Anaya Dawson, the DP, Abby Merle in center field. 7 through 9, KJ Irwin behind the plate, Kirsten Smith in right field, Caitlin Dillard in left field, Courtney Denrider in the circle for the Lady Pioneers, the sophomore transfer from Wisconsin, getting her 9th start of the year. Caitlin Davis leads the team in starts. She has 19. Mia Harper and Grayson Nealon have 14 apiece. And then Denrider, Jordan Lucas has 1 for VolState. Wes Buckner, one of the managers, just came up into the press box, but all he did was turn the volume down so that the umpires could talk. Another manager is River Pennington. She's a freshman. Buckner's been at VolState for 2 years. He's from Greenbrier, Tennessee. Alyssa Costley, the pitching coach for the Lady Pioneers, in her 2nd year with head coach Christian Lynn, who's in his 3rd year. Again, we are delayed, waiting for umpire number 2. And I guess I'll get my cue from Coach Lynn as to whether or not we're going to go ahead and start without umpire number 2. And it may be a possibility. And I'll have to take a break. I am the person who's going to start the national anthem here. So spinning plates up in the press box here at the Nichols Softball Complex. Again, if you want to join the show, send an email to treesports@gmail.com. And there's another email from Diana Young, Maddie Goad's grandma. She's down in Tullahoma. Tullahoma Wildcats. She says go Vols. She might be a Tennessee fan as well. A lot of people call Pioneers the Vols as in VolState. So she's a big fan. I'm a big fan of Maddie Goad. Excellent player, one of the top freshmen clearly in the conference. Her and Maddie Shinton, 2 big pieces of this VolState club, and they're both freshmen. In fact, the first 5 batters in the lineup for VolState, freshmen: Alyssa Dixon, Mally Grizzle, Maddie Goad, Maddie Shinton, and Anaya Dawson. And then it's sophomores after that. Redshirt sophomore Abby Merle, who formerly played for the Cleveland State Lady Cougars. Played for 2 years. Last year she was injured 2 years ago. She led their club in hitting, hit .433, playing in 48 games for Cleveland State, the 5'7" redshirt sophomore. She's from Unionville, Tennessee. And in a game against Columbia State, she crashed into the center field wall. She was telling me about it a little bit before the game and said she is recovering. She is bruised on her, I believe it's on her left side of her body from probably shoulder to knee. Still has a, maybe on the, not sure honestly which side that was, but I think it's on the left side. She's a left-handed hitter, a right-handed thrower, but she sat out a couple of double headers. Mally Grizzle out for probably about 8 games prior to that with an injury. VolState hoping to get healed up for the conference tournament that begins a week from Friday. VolState will not play on the play-in games. If you're not familiar with how the softball tournament is erected, all 11 teams get into the tournament. The bottom 6 will play 3 games of a play-in on Friday. At Columbia State is where this year's tournament is held. Next year it'll be held right here at VolState. And the women's softball tournament is May 1st through the 5th at Columbia State. And this year the men will play the 5th through the 8th, also at Columbia State. But the men's tournament will be a 6-team tournament. Looks like the ladies are starting to come out to take the field or line up. So maybe we got some softball coming. I'll turn the volume down on me and get the national anthem about ready. Play ball. Umpire number 2 coming in from the parking lot now, so patriotic sort. Coming straight on through the left field gate, and he has arrived. I don't have a name. Glad you could join us here on the VolState Sports Network. For those that are tuning in right now, if you actually want to go and look at it after the game is over, you'll find it. It is on our YouTube channel, so you'd actually have to go to on YouTube, go to the actual VolState YouTube channel, and then there is a category there that says playlists. And under playlists, you go to the bottom, I believe is where it will show it. And it's just a playlist just called softball. And on there, you should see the newer broadcasts. There was a change in policy regarding the closed captioning. And our chief engineer here, A.J. Fawson, indicated there was some change on how the broadcasts are recorded and looked at and all that. So there's a change on where you go to find it. So it's been a bit of a learning process, clearly for me. I have to inform the ladies that as well. In steps Giselle Tankersley, Courtney Denrider in the circle, and her first fastball dots the outside corner for a called strike. And we are underway at 1:38 p.m. Central Time. Game time temperature 79 degrees here in Middle Tennessee, Sumner County, Gallatin, Tennessee. Gracious and growing Gallatin, as our athletic director, Bobby Hudson, has made an appearance here in the press box. Count moves to 2 balls and a strike. We got all kinds of supervision going on down here today. It's the only game in town. So Coach Hudson and Justin McKinney back from their national conference. Chopper to third. Maddie Shinton over to Maddie Goad for out number 1. Tankersley, the leading hitter on the club for Cleveland State at .331. Grounds out. Leads the club in runs scored, hits, and doubles. 21, 40, and 12, respectively. Another left-handed hitting outfielder, Milan Pemberton, looks at a ball. Pemberton from Jasper, Tennessee. Attended Marion County, the Warriors, she said. Where Will Pryor, pitcher that I broadcasted for the Full Count Rhythm, attended. She said she went to high school with him. He's now at the University of Kentucky after, I believe, 3 years at my alma mater of Belmont University. But I'm old. It was Belmont College when I was there. 2-1 misses high and away from Denrider. She does not protect that moneymaker out there. She's sans the face mask. The only player with a face mask is Maddie Goad down at third, or Maddie Shinton. As ball 4 allows Pemberton to reach. Control occasionally is an issue for Denrider, but as I said earlier, she strikes out more batters per 7 innings than anybody in the conference by a long shot. She's the Michaela Fuqua of strikeouts per 7 innings for VolState. Michaela Fuqua is to stolen bases the last 2 years. That's what Courtney Denrider is to strikeouts per 7. Lily Griffiths, the DP, stands in. She's from Von Orr, Tennessee, Sequoia High School. She's a 5'5" sophomore. Swings through that pitch. And down in the count, 0-2. Griffiths hitting .287. double, a home run, playing in her 36th game. Slow roller to the left side. Grizzle gloves, throws over to Goad. Ground out, moves the runner to second. That's now 2 outs. And Pemberton moves up to second. They don't steal a lot of bases. They're 10th in the conference. In fact, Alyssa Dixon has 22 more stolen bases herself than Cleveland State has as a team. Jayla Young, the third baseman, looks at ball 1. Young, a 5'5" freshman from Knoxville, Tennessee, attended Knox Central High School. This one high on the left side. Grizzle out, but in is Caitlin Dillard looking up into the sunny skies. She makes the catch for the final out in the first. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left aboard as Courtney Denrider strands the walk. And VolState will come in and pick up the aluminum, see if they can put a run on the board, as we are finally playing some softball here. Game 1 of a doubleheader between VolState and Cleveland State. We'll be right back on the VolState Sports Network. Alyssa Dixon, Mally Grizzle, and Maddie Goad. First 3 scheduled to face Layla Howard. Dixon takes a called strike on the outside corner. Says, I've got the wrong name. It's Sierra Howard. Where did I get Layla? Sierra Howard from Georgetown, Tennessee. Dixon sees a pitch whispering at the outside corner. Down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Howard's 22nd appearance of the year. Dixon can't hold up on the changeup as she swings way early. And she's down on strikes. 51st strikeout of the year for Howard. That is Dixon's 24th strikeout of the year. That's a long drive by Mally Grizzle to left center field. It is off the scoreboard. Toyota of Gallatin scoreboard takes one for the team. Right above the High Point Health Ascension St. Thomas sign, and Mally Grizzle. First pitch that she sees from Howard. She drives out of the park. And the Framework Athletics first run of the game driven in by Mally Grizzle. She had an inside the park home run last Sunday. This one gets out of here. It's her 5th of the year, RBI number 37. She comes in hitting .389. Maddie Goad will stand in. 1 in and 1 out. Nobody on base. First Pitch is outside. Grizzle from Liberty Creek High School. Family now lives in Portland, Tennessee. Maddie Goad, a freshman from Tullahoma. .5'8". She can play either corner infield spot. Got a good look at that one and fouls it back. That's a Chick-fil-A at Gallatin. Foul ball. Daniel and Christina Goad, her parents, Easton, her brother. Nanny's in Huntsville, Alabama, but Willie and Grandma, they're down in Tullahoma. Already heard from Grandma down in T-Town. Murray County, I believe that is. Three balls, one strike to Goad. She pops this one up into center field, just missed that one. Milan Pemberton backs up toward the warning track, hauls that one in for out number 2. Goad tied with Maddie Shinton with the RBI lead for the team, and they're both tied for second in the conference. 64 runs batted in. I believe that leader has 67. As Shinton, who walked it off with a 2-run home run on Sunday, takes a called strike. Shinton from Greenbrier, Tennessee. She's a freshman. Play third base. She can get behind the plate. She can flat out hit. Leading the club, .452 batting average. That's second in the conference. And Howard rocks and deals. That's off the end of the bat. That's going to be a base hit. First baseman Sloan Watson stepped to her right. Howard never got out of the circle. And Shinton gets her a little, dribbler for an infield single. That'll bring up Anaya Dawson, who's in scoring position when she steps into the box as well. She also leads the conference in triples. Pitch in the right-handed batter's box, called a strike. Dawson hitting .391. She's got 10 dingers, 45 RBIs. That's good for, tied for 5th in the conference. Also draws a lot of walks, 21 walks. Addison Beach for Walters State, one of the top hitters. That's in the gap in right center field. Dawson, she's not going to stop at second to throw to the plate, is in front, and Ella Blancett has to step in front of the plate to make the catch, and that's another triple. It's her 10th of the year, and an RBI for Anaya Dawson. VolState now leads 2-0. Good throw to the plate would have had Shinton. Dawson only being held, or actually she never broke stride, but the only thing that would have stopped her would have been that Shinton not as fast as she is. Maybe Merle fleet of foot. She'll step in there after back-to-back hits for the Pioneers. Abby looking like she's going to lay down a bunt. Jayla Young at third base, well inside the third base bag, as is Sloan Watson, the first baseman. Merrill looks at ball 3 outside. On deck, KJ Irwin. After a strikeout, Mally Grizzle, 5th home run of the year in the left center field. Maddie Goad flew out to center. Then an infield single by Maddie Shinton and a triple in the right center field gap by Dawson has VolState up 2-0. 3-0 pitch winks at the outside corner. Merle, the former Lady Cougar from Unionville, Tennessee. Where's the number 77? Her third year of JUCO softball. That's a bunt right down. And Young is going to glove, but not be able to throw Merle out. She gets an RBI bunt single. And VolState up 3-0. Good job by Dawson to wait till the throw was made. Now KJ Irwin, who steps to the plate. That's back-to-back-to-back hits. 4 hits in the inning. Merle was going to get into second base without a throw. And the pitch called a ball on Irwin, who does like to swing at that first pitch. Give Merle her 46th stolen base of the year. Irwin sees that pitch slide outside. 2-0 count. KJ, a sophomore transfer from John A. Logan. From Thompson Station, Tennessee, went to Centennial High School. That's lifted just over the second baseman's head. That's going to drop in the green. Right fielder Layla Perry thought about making the throw home, but did not. That's an RBI single as the hit parade continues for VolState to lead 4-0. And that is 4 straight hits. Kirsten Smith now at the plate with 2 outs. All this last 3 runs happening with 2 outs. Kirsten, a sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky. Went to Ballard High School. Kirsten hitting .315, playing in game number 45. She has 3 triples on the season. That's tied for 10th in the conference. Two balls, no strikes to Smith with Caitlin Dillard on deck. Kirsten is the 8th batter to come to the plate here in the inning. Sierra Howard struggling for strikes here against Smith. Howard retired 2 of the first 3 as another pitch winks at the corner on the 3-0. Kirsten, 5'6". Digital and broadcast media major. Daughter of Greg and Kathleen, sister to Shelby. Plate umpire Joseph Baldwin. He doesn't want to see a merry-go-round. He wants to see if you're going to get on base, I want you to hit to get on. Kirsten, you better swing at anything close. Full count ministries, full count. And she does. Swings at a ball that is going to hit her in the belly button. She fouls that off down the left field line. Count remains full. Stay tuned. We'll have, toward the end of the game, we'll have the full count ministries verse of the game. If you got a suggestion, you can send it in on a treesports@gmail.com. If you have a favorite verse out of the Bible, low and inside, ball 4. She thought, I'm probably not going to be able to hit that one. It's on my shoe tops. First walk of the inning by Howard. It's her 90th of the season. That'll bring in Caitlin Dillard. Another Greenbrier Bobcat. Her and Maddie Shinton. Caitlin's 5'2". She's a sophomore in her second year here at VolState. Granddad and Granny there out of Springfield, as are Granddaddy and Granby. And Joe Brown is here. She lifts one out to left field, nearly coming in too quickly. Was the Giselle Tankersley, but she stops on a dime and makes the catch for the final out as VolState Bats through the order, and 9 come to the plate. 4-run score on 5 hits, no errors, 2 runners left on base. VolState, after 1, leads 4-0. Tim Reese on the VolState Sports Network moved to the top of the second inning. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Cleveland State. Miley Howard, Ella Blancett, and Heidi Johnson to face Courtney Denrider. Delivers one right down Broadway for a called strike. She'll dial it up there at the high 60s, low 70s. Does Denrider. That'll get it by a lot of people. Swing and a miss. Howard, 5'7" freshman from Rossville, Georgia. Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe High School. And swings and misses at a pitch high and outside. She's down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Denrider. Now the catcher, Ella Blancett. Another freshman, 5'5", from Ringgold, Georgia, Heritage High School. Another right-handed batter squares around to bunt, pulls the bat back, and the pitch is inside for ball 1. Blancett hitting .236, playing in her 38th game of the year. Tied for the team lead with Milan Pemberton in walks with 16. Pops this one up. That'll get out of play. It's the roof of the press box here, the Nichols Softball Complex. Got folks sitting in the sand getting some rays. Got some sitting in lawn chairs out beyond the outfield fence. One's put a tent up out in right center field. 2-1 misses downstairs. Let's get that strike on the board. That'd be one to get under the tent. Just poured some concrete out in the new batting cage down the left field line. That one will get out of play, and the count will move full. Full Count Ministries, full count. Go to fullcountministries.com. See all folks involved with that ministry are doing for baseball players here in Middle Tennessee, down in the Birmingham, Alabama area, and in Nicaragua. Been going since 2010. Changeup fouled back. That's how I got my start in broadcasting for the summer collegiate baseball team, the Full Count Rhythm, located right down the road in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Blancett staying in there. Ground ball to short. Grizzle stays down, gloves, and throws a strike to Maddie Goad. Now 2 are out here in the second. Heidi Johnson, the shortstop, stands in. 2 left-handers to start the game for the Lady Cougars. It's been all right-handers since. Johnson, second on the club in batting average. 302 leads the club in triples with 3. 35 hits, also second on the club to Giselle Tankersley. Can't catch up with that fastball. Johnson also from Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe High School. Her hometown is actually Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. It's not too far away from Chattanooga. Across the state line. She's 5'7", sophomore. 8 sophomores on the club. 1 is injured, Destiny Jensen. Johnson fouls that one out of play over toward where they're doing heavy construction, getting ready for a new target location. Everybody's been clamoring for another target. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And another strikeout ends the inning. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Denrider. And VolState coming back in the dugout. Let's see if they can put some more on the board. This is game 1 of a doubleheader today. We'll carry both right here on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese back on the VolState Sports Network. Trying to play a little bit of music here between innings for the crowd. Back to the top of the lineup for VolState. Alyssa Dixon struck out in her first at-bat. Did not get to participate in all the reindeer games in that 4-run first inning. And she is a regular participant. She leads the club in runs scored. 59 of those. 9th in the conference with a .402 batting average. It is 3rd among starters for VolState. They lead the conference in batting average as a team, .378. As Dixon, that was a 3-ball no-strike count. 70 hits, that's tied for 5th. But second on her team is Maddie Shinton, tied for 1st with most hits in conference at 75. 3-0 catches the outside corner. Dixon, 4 triples, it's tied for 7th. 30 RBIs. Lifted up, and that may be playable. Third baseman Jayla Young comes in and keeps her feet and makes the catch, probably just outside of your view and a step and a half away from the fence. Did a good job of keeping her feet, as I said. to retire Dixon for out number 1. Mally Grizzle in this same situation. Swung the first pitch with that pink bat. Delivered a 5th home run into the Toyota of Gallatin scoreboard in left center field. Does have a screen in front of it. We don't want to knock out any lights out there. Appreciate the folks at Toyota Gallatin, located across the street from the eastern entrance to VolState. Swing and a miss. Eric Carr, the general manager. Jake Thompson, the general sales manager. And my salesman, Wayne Hobdy. My service lady has left, though. Emily Smith has taken a new job. So Connie, I believe her name Williams, is my go-to now in the service department at Toyota Gallatin. My brand new Toyota Tundra that I bought a little over a month ago now. That's out to shallow left center field. On comes Pemberton. She can't get to it as she and Johnson get together. The swipe tag is not in time, and that'll be a double for Grizzle. Or it should be. Not an error. If she gets a bloop double, this game is being scored on Game Changer. See if I can get there quickly enough as Matty Goad stands in. This is outside. They called that an error. I don't agree with that scoring decision. I am not the official scorer. I would assume that they would have had to have given that to the center fielder. Shortstop Johnson was going out, but Pemberton was bothered by Johnson. I'm going to show it as a double. Mally, I may try to go to bat for you. Talk to Christian after the game. I can be bribed. I do like cookies. Chocolate chip. Macadamia. Off the end of the bat to the right side. In comes the right fielder. She can't get it, and he goes past her. This will be another bloop double. That's going to score a run. Layla Perry came in a little tentative. Had it hit in front of her. She's definitely playing deep with Goat at the plate. But that will be another double as Maddie Shinton stands in. Her Nene is in Greenbrier listening in. She sent an email. There's a ground ball up the middle, glove by the shortstop, and the throw over by Johnson to Watson retires Shinton. Goad moves over to third. Shinton now 1 for 2. And Anaya Dawson, who tripled into the right center field gap, steps to the plate. Good-looking freshman. Looks at a pitch in the right-handed batter's box again. Called a strike. Need about a 39-inch bat. Maybe get a fungo. That went down low. Dawson tripled, drove in Maddie Shinton, who reached with 2 outs in the first on a little infield single that hit right off the end of the bat. Squibber to the first baseman. Nobody was covering the base, and Shinton beat that one out. Alyssa Costley, the pitching coach and assistant coach, she's standing down at first base. Christian Lennon, his familiar spot in the third base coaching area. He's standing on a patch of grass between the dugout and the dirt surface. All natural surface here. 3-1 is swung on and missed. Full count Ministries, full count with 2 outs and a runner at third. VolState leads 5-0. So they bat here in the second, trying to pick up another run with 2 outs. Dawson's going to get rung up on that pitch right there. She'll go down looking for out number 3. Second strikeout for Sierra Howard. VolState scores 1. I got it on 2 hits. I got no errors and 1 runner left aboard. Game changer. Did not agree early. I don't know if they changed that or not, but it doesn't matter. I'm not the official scorer. We'll be right back for the 3rd inning. Top of the 3rd we go. 8, 9, and 1 due up for Cleveland State. Sloan Watson, Layla Perry, and then Giselle Tankersley. First 1-2, Watson is down low. Name of one of my granddaughters, spelled S-L-O-A-N-E. Sloan Watson, and with a 2-ball, no strike count. 5'9", sophomore from Cleveland, Tennessee, went to Baylor High School. I thought that's in Chattanooga, though. Baylor, she looks at a called strike. I believe that's right. Courtney Denrider still in the circle for VolState. Delivers one just a hair high to the tall first baseman. Watson hitting .227, playing her 25th game of the year. She's taking all the way, had the bat on her shoulders. She draws the second walk of the game. We'll bring up Layla Perry, the number 9 hole hitter. She bats left-handed, so they'll have 3 straight from the left-handed batter's box. Perry squaring around a bunt, called a strike. Would not expect Watson to be on the move. Sometimes a fake bunt means the runner at first is going to take off, but Watson has not attempted a stolen base. There was an attempted bunt, fouled back into K.J. Irwin's mitt, and it's an 0-2 count for Layla Perry, 5'4" sophomore. From Tunnel Hill, Georgia, went to Northwest Whitfield. The 0-2. Denrider trying to put her away, and she does with a strikeout. Looking her 3rd. And it's the first out here in the 3rd inning. Back to the top of the lineup, Giselle Tankersley, Chickamauga, Georgia. Swings and fouls the first pitch off. Got an opportunity to talk to some of the Lady Cougars before the game. They got here right about the same time I did, actually a little bit before, at 11 o'clock, 2 hours before the scheduled game time. We got started late, throw down to first, and Watson is back. Called strike as Tankersley in the hole 0-2. That started about 38 minutes late due to waiting for another umpire. Ground ball to Grizzle. It's going to be a tough play. Tankersley's going to beat out that infield single. Slow roller to second. Puts runners at first and second. That's the first hit of the game for Cleveland State. It was a jam shot. Tankersley now 1 for 2. Got a meeting in the circle. They're going to have a little confab. Discuss. Not sure what. 1 out, 2 runners on. KJ Irwin looks like she's talking more specifically to the shortstop, Mally Grizzle. Again, I don't expect movement on the bases. Only 33 stolen bases on the season. Now Milan Pemberton, who walked but was stranded at second in the first inning, stands in. It's what the little city in Denton, West Tennessee should be called, Milan, Tennessee. Instead, it's called Milan, spelled the same. Jasper, Tennessee over in East Tennessee. The 1-1. Fouled straight back. You're watching Game Changer later. I'm not sure if they got the video portion of that up or not, but I don't have the ability to watch that. But then again, I'm a little busy right now. Operating camera switching. Check. Swing, throw down to first, and Pemberton is out on strikes. Tried to go backside to see if they could get Tankersley, but she got back hands first. The 4th strikeout for Courtney Denrider, common spelling of Denrider, in case you're wondering and you didn't want to go to the VolState softball website. Lily Griffiths grounded out to short. Takes ball 1. D-E-N, and I spell it capital R. I think Courtney, her family do as well. Capital R-U-Y-T-E-R. Lazy fly ball out to right field. Kirsten Smith, she can catch a fly ball. And she does. For out number 3. Cleveland State strands 2 runners. Do pick up their first hit, but no runs. VolState leads 5-0. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Abby Merle, KJ Irwin, and Kirsten Smith due up here in the bottom of the 3rd. VolState 4 in the first, 1 in the second. Off of Sierra Howard. Howard still in the circle. Merle tries to check. They check down at first base. The umpire there says she didn't go, but he doesn't have a very good view of that, being at the first base with a left-handed batter. Merle laid down a bunt, beat it out in the first, driving in a run. Reaches out to try to smack one down the left field line and fouls it off. That's another Chick-fil-A at Gallatin. Foul ball, and that's an FOWL ball. They're located right up the street. It's uphill, but it's heading east on Nashville Pike. About a mile and a half probably away from campus. Mary and Greg Garrettson, the owners of that Chick-fil-A. Supporters of VolState Athletics. Merle, the daughter of Danny and Tina Merle. They live in Shelbyville. She's got a bunch of siblings. Ooh. Late call on a strike 2. Full count Ministries, full count. Iman, Haley, Daniel, Josiah, and Luke. Hello to Grandma Peggy. Might be listening in Alaska. Pop and Mum in Baltimore, Maryland. A full count. First pitch, foul ball. Abby, an early childhood education major. It's her first year at VolState. Abby hitting .367, playing in her 52nd game of the year. And that is ball 4, but it was close. Based on my estimation of the umpire's strike zone so far. Second walk of the game by Howard. And Merle's already got a stolen bag. Would expect to see her take off here. Again, KJ Irwin does like to swing at the first pitch. Let's see if they give her the take. She lifted one over the second baseman. Miley Howard's head. Throw down to second. That's not nearly in time to get Merle. The pitch is outside. And another stolen base for Abby. Now 47. The 177th stolen bag. She is in scoring position for Irwin. KJ hitting .331. She's been behind the plate the majority of the time this year. Playing in her 56th game. It's the 57th game for VolState. She is playing hampered. She's not feeling well and hasn't since last Sunday. Takes a called strike. Middle Tennessee, you can get the crud here pretty easily. I live with it. Constant sinus issues. She's got 49 hits, make it 50. Make it 51 as she drills one up the middle of the throw to the plate. Nice strong throw. Down to second base goes Irwin on the throw. Give her an RBI single, and she's now in scoring position. As Merle comes in to score after the walk and the stolen bag. Irwin's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Brings up Kirsten Smith. VolState scored in each of the first 3 innings so far. Smith walked in her first plate appearance. Ball 1. Kirsten, .315 batter. Kirsten played in 33 games as a freshman last year. A lot of defensive replacement. That's off the end of the bat, and that's going to fall into the in and out of the glove of Perry in right field as Smith is going to get in to second base. That should be another double. It was a diving attempt by Perry. And let's see if I can get to the game changer quick enough to see how they ruled that. That puts runners at second and third. And Caitlin Dillard at the plate. Still nobody out. Runners at second and third. Can't give an error to somebody who's trying to dive to catch the ball. That's always been my scoring philosophy. They call it a single. Again, I don't know how you call it a single. She got to second. Called strike on the outside corner. Somebody down in the, I think it may be Wes Buckner's keeping the game changer. They said that she got the second on the air, and I think that's youth scoring. That's a line drive up the middle. It should drive in two. Bobbling, it is Pemberton, and Smith goes ahead and comes on. And VolState leads 8-0. Give Dillard a 2-run single. There's a chance that, let's see if they do give an error to the center fielder that allowed Kirsten Smith to come in and score. I think that's what they're doing as a visit. Didn't understand that scoring decision there. It said that Smith came in on the throw, but the throw wasn't made. We're going to have a change in the circle as Savannah Bennett will come in for Sierra Howard. She'll face the top of the lineup. Alyssa Dixon may be glad. She's over 2 against Sierra Howard. Savannah Bennett, 5'6" sophomore from Chattanooga, Tennessee. CSAS. You know, I should know what the acronym for a high school. Chattanooga something school is my guess. Three hits in a row on my score sheet for VolState. Now Alyssa Dixon with a new pitcher. Savannah Bennett. First pitch called a strike, throw down, and Dillard is in there sliding. She's in scoring position for Alyssa Dixon. Looking for her first hit of the game. Squares the bunt. Changeup taken for a ball. Ground ball, base hit, hits the bag, and caroms just to the left. To the center fielder's right, Milan Pemberton, but she knocks it down to keep Dixon at first base for the moment. It's an RBI single for Dixon. Conference's leading base stealer should be off with the pitch. Allie Grizzle takes a called strike, throw down, and the tag just got underneath or into the bag before the tag applied. I believe the pitch was called a strike. It was. So give Dixon her 58th steal. Grizzle started to go, and it holds up on a pitch inside. Solo home run in the first. I have her with a double and another run scored in the second. Game changer has that differently as Savannah Bennett says, I would like a new ball, please. Sierra Howard goes 2+ innings, pitches to 4 batters here in the third. Gives up 10 hits. Popped up to the right side. Perry looking up into the sun, makes the catch, tagging at second. Moving over to third is Dixon. There's the first out here in the third. Brings up Maddie Goat. She's 1 for 2. RBI double. Again, my score sheet's probably going to look a little different than Game Changer. Ground ball gloved, knocked down there by Bennett. They toss to first, and they get her. Nice play there by Savannah Bennett. The run does come in to score, and VolState leads 10-0. So give Goat another RBI. Bennett knocks the ball down, recovers, and a little side flip to Sloan Watson for out number 2. Maddie Shinton stands in. She's in scoring position, 1 for 2. The wind is blowing out here at the Nichols Softball Complex. We're on the campus here at VolState, the most western edge. It's the first thing you see when you're coming from Hendersonville to Gallatin or Nashville to Gallatin. Changeup fouled off. That was a hacksaw Reynolds right there by Shinton. That was more of a fly swatter type swing. She was trying to keep that off of her chin. 8th batter to come to the plate. 4 more, make it 5 runs. Ground ball foul. 4 of those runs charged to Sierra Howard. Oh, 2 misses low and away. You let Maddie Shinton extend her arms, the ball's going to go a long way. Ground ball through the left side. It's a 2-out knock for Shinton. She's 2 for 3. And Anaya Dawson, the 9th batter, come to the plate. Steps in, 1 for 2, triple and a strikeout. Five hits in the inning, 5 runs. Dawson from Goodlettsville, Tennessee, but she attended Donaldson Christian Academy. Business finance major. She's the daughter of Adrian and Chantel Dawson, sister to Corey Koya, Samora, and Adrana. Bennett now 3 balls, no strike count to Dawson. Granddaddy and Grandma Rose in Hendersonville. Nanny in Mount Juliet and Grandma Jenny in Goodlettsville. Dawson nearly plunked with the 4th ball of the at-bat. She reaches, and VolState is now batted around. Abby Merle led off with a walk. Runners at first and second. She grounds one to the right side. Backhanded by Watson. Merle nearly beat Watson to first base. That will end the inning of 3 unassisted. VolState scores 5, leads 10-0. Christian Lynn has some changes here in the top of the fourth. We were just playing. REO Speedwagon says roll with the changes. Kind of like I knew. I didn't, but it's kind of like I knew. Courtney Denrider and KJ Irwin steal your battery. Willow Carden now at third base. In for Maddie Shinton. Savannah White, the new right fielder for Kirsten Smith. Looks like that's the only changes. For VolState in defense. Caitlin Dillard still in left. Abby Merle in center. And the new right fielder, Savannah White. Willow Carden at third base. Mally Grizzle still at shortstop as Denrider delivers low to Jayla Young, cleanup hitter for Cleveland State. Right side of the infield is Alyssa Dixon and Maddie Goad. That's in there for a called strike at the knees. Ground ball to the left side. That's going to sneak off the glove of Grizzle. Dillard gets it back in quickly, and that's the second hit of the game for Cleveland State. Jayla Young now 1 for 2. That's the first hit that got out of the infield, and it almost didn't. Grizzle up 10-0 is diving, trying to keep the ball in the infield. Miley Howard at the plate. She struck out to lead off the second. Fouls that one off the screen. Appreciate those of you that have emailed to treesports@gmail.com just to let me know who you are, where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Some Maddie Shinton fan, Maddie Goad fan, both grandparents there. Erin Dow Santo, mother of Courtney Denrider. She's listening in up there in Wisconsin. Courtney looking for a place to go, a 4-year school. Somebody is going to get a good right-hander. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first. Pitch is fouled off the screen. Don Dillard listening in down in East Texas. I assume the Dillards, the grandparents of Mia Harper, are still planning on coming up for sophomore weekend, even though the game's moved from Saturday to Sunday. Just checking out the broadcast. Saturday's VolState doubleheader against Jackson State due to weather possibility coming in on Saturday has been moved to Sunday. Full Count Ministries, full count, fouled back. Cleveland State's final game will be Saturday as it's scheduled right now. That'll be at Walter State, so not sure if Chuck Sebastian will carry that. Probably will. They don't have baseball on Saturday. The baseball series is Thursday and Friday. And I'm not sure where. Let's see, where is Walter State baseball? They're at Cleveland. So your Game Time Sports Network announcer Jay Harper will be broadcasting the Walter State at Cleveland State baseball series. Cleveland State trying to stay in that first place. They're actually not in first place now. Baseball team. Been in first base for a long time. Ella Blancett fouls that one off. She's down in the count 0-2. Nobody out. 2 runners on here for the Lady Cougars trying to get on the board against Courtney Denrider. Blancett fouling balls left or right and left. grounded out to short. Who's got their triple play card out they want to play right now? It's going to be a little bit harder now as the wild pitch moves runners to second and third. That changeup held a little bit too long. Grizzle will come in and give Den Ryder a little break. Popped up, that will get out of play. Just past the stands to the right. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Den Ryder delivers, looking for the strikeout. Doesn't get it on that pitch. Four strikeouts in the game. She now has 113 on the season. Second in the conference. That category. Pick up another one. Swing and a miss. The 5th strikeout. And out number 1 will bring up Heidi Johnson, who's a strikeout victim, ending the second. Willow Card, the third baseman, coming hard, but Irwin's throw down to first is not in time. They got 2 runners at third base. A run will score as Grizzle will go ahead and make the tag. Another throw to first as Johnson gets back. So Ollie Oxenfree, everybody start running. And all that mess right there, that is a base hit for Johnson on the bunt. No RBI as the runner was not coming. Well, you might give an RBI on that. Young scores. Howard is out. For out number 2. It's called strike to Sloan Watson. See, they don't give you in softball, they don't give you a whole lot of time to fill out your score sheet. I'm telling you, this is a get after it kind of a game. There's no moss growing on these ladies. I think that is a 3-6. And a called strike 3 ends the inning. 2 strikeouts in the inning, but 2 hits for Cleveland State as they pick up their first run of the game. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors. 1 runner left aboard. Headed to the bottom of the 4th. VolState trying to play add-on. We'll be right back. Got a re-entry for VolState. Nia Dawson, the DP. KJ Irwin, Savannah White, and Caitlin Dillard to face Savannah Bennett here in the bottom of the fourth. VolState trying to get some extra mercy rule runs here in the bottom of the fourth. Scored in every inning. Irwin's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and 1 run scored. First time that Irwin has faced Bennett, who came in the third inning with nobody out. Ground ball foul. Is a costly. Makes a business decision to get out of the way that hard hit ground ball. Ball 4. Irwin reaches leading off the fourth. Second walk of the game by Bennett. First at bat for Savannah White. Ball 1 to her. Kirsten Smith was 1 for 1. She had a walk and a double. White was a Toyota of Gallatin player of the game. Game she was 3 for 3 at against Southwest Tennessee. She looks at a called strike. She's been a 5'9" freshman out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, Greenwood High School. Health science major. And lines right to the third baseman. This could be 2, and the catch is not made at first base. So Smith lines out to Jayla Young for out number 1. Irwin able to get back before Sloan Watson collected that throw from Young into her glove. Caitlin Dillard, 1 for 2, stands in. Squares to bunt. Pitch is low and away. Dillard, one of 6 players on VolState's roster with the last name that starts with a D. Tried to bunt, missed. 5'2", sophomore from Greenbrier High School, the daughter of Scott and Carrie Dillard, sister to Bentley. Played in 54 games a year ago, hit .368. Bunts that one backwards, which is not easy to do. If you tried to do it, you couldn't do it. Caitlin having an excellent year at the plate. Now has 48 hits on the year, playing in her 54th game, batting average of .412. Slowly hit ground ball to short, tough play. Dillard thrown out just by a step. Nice job to throw on the run by Heidi Johnson for Cleveland State. Now 2 outs and a runner at second. Irwin moves down on the ground out. Back to the top of the lineup, Alyssa Dixon. Singled up the middle, drove in a run. Her last at-bat, 1 for 3. She wants to get to that 2 for 4 mark, if possible. Squares to bunt, pitches out of the zone. Savannah Bennett said she's got the number 88 because for crazy eights. She said she's a little bit crazy. She told me that before the game. I think think it's just 2-0. Toyota Gallatin scoreboard shows 2-1. Ground ball to second. Should end it. Miley Howard over to Watson with the final out in the bottom of the fourth. VolState 3 outs away from finishing this one early, as they have a 9-run lead. It takes 8 for the Mercy Rule, so Cleveland State would have to score 2. We'll be right back. Call to the bullpen for VolState, Jordan Lucas, 5'11", sophomore from Fredonia, New York. Attended Fredonia High School as a transfer from St. Bonaventure, psychology major, daughter of Kevin and Dana Lucas, sister to Kelly, granddaughter of Grandpa and Grandma in Fredonia, New York, Papa and Nana, also up there in the Empire State. Lucas on in relief of Courtney Denrider. It is her 9th appearance of the year, 8th in relief, 3.09 ERA, 11 innings, 11 strikeouts for the tall New Yorker. She will face 9-1-2 in the Cleveland State lineup. Layla Perry struck out looking. Her only plate appearance in this game. Courtney Denrider goes 4 innings, gives up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, walked 3, struck out 6. As Lucas delivers a called strike. Faced 17 batters in line to pick up her 7th win in 9 decisions. Will not be a complete game or a shutout. That's a nice stop there by Lucas. That was headed to center field. That was almost a goalie kick and a glove save and a beaut for out number 1. I was just about ready to say a leadoff single by Layla Perry, and then all of a sudden, that size, I don't know, 9 shoe spike down there, and that big old 12-inch glove, they arrived at the same time as the ball together. Called strike to Tankersley. She's 1 for 2, an infield single. Giselle. Ground ball fouled on the first base line. Maddie Shinton has re-entered the game. Willow Carden was in for 1 inning at third base. Shinton has re-entered in that position. Tankersley spoils the 0-2. See if I can get that on my score bug correctly. You see that number 20 up there next to VolState. Yesterday, the new rankings came out in Division I, and VolState steadily moving up the top 25. They are 20th in the country this year. Only team in Region 7 that's in the top 25. Region 8, I think they got 8 teams in the top 25. That's the Florida region. Ground ball to Grizzle at short. She's true over to Goad, and that's now 2 outs. Cleveland State down to their final out. Milan Pemberton over 1 with a strikeout and a walk. Florida Southwestern State College. This is number 1 team in all the land, 41-5 record. VolState with their 43 wins. I think that's 3rd most as the top 25 list came out. Gaston College is 16th in the country. He's got 53 wins. Northwest Florida State has 48. VolState trying to get their 44th. 1-1 pitch, down low. Assistant basketball coach John Thomas Lynn has graced the press box. He's up here, acting like he don't have a job. Hat on backwards. He's the older brother to Christian Lynn. He's that first child. He's got that first child look. You do whatever you want. You're the favorite, aren't you? Huh? You're the FO. He's the favorite one. Those Lynn's got some pretty good kids, though. Lifted out the left center, Abby Merle comes in and makes a running catch to end the ball game. Johnny and Kimberly with their 2 boys. And they are all up in the athletic business here at VolState. That will end it. 2:58. That's an hour and 20-minute ball game right there. As this one belongs to the Lady Pioneers. Courtney Denrider does get her 7th victory of the season. This is not a conference game, so VolState's conference record stays at 25-3. Cleveland State's record stays at 7-19. They fall to 10-31 on the season. And our Full Count Ministries verse of the game before we get to our Toyota Gallatin player of the game. See if I can find that. I don't think anybody sent in a verse. And I didn't get John Thomas to tell me one, so I'll just go with John 3:17. Everybody knows 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. But not many know 17. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. That's John 3:17. And that is our Full Count Ministries verse of the game. Our player of the game, I think we're going to have to go on the pitching side. Courtney Denrider, 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts as she maintains that almost 12 strikeouts per 7 innings. That didn't take a dent. Jordan Lucas came in and threw a 1-2-3 5th inning. No save. It's just a little bit of work for Lucas. So VolState gets the win. Final 10-1. See how many hits VolState ended up with. I got 12 hits to produce those 10 runs. Our Toyota Gallatin player of the game, Courtney Denrider. On the hitting side, Mally Grizzle on my score sheet, 2 for 3. Had a home run and a double. Scored twice. KJ Irwin with a couple more hits again, as they were the only 2 batters to pick up multiple hits. Every batter in the VolState lineup collected a single on my score sheet. So great job by the Lady Pioneers. We'll be back in about 20-25 minutes right here on the VolState Sports Network with game number 2. This is Tim Reese for Dr. Wendy Tossison, the president of Volunteer State, athletic director Bobby Hudson, assistant athletic director Justin McKinney, and head coach Christian Lynn. Thank you for joining me on the VolState Sports Network.